Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the That's Beautiful podcast. I'm very delighted to say we have a very special guest today. Of course, my brother, Colin Peary. I'll let him give a little introduction and we'll dive in.
What's up, guys? I'm Colin.
My boy, since 7th grade, just out here living, being roommates now in Tennessee. Just a little background. So enjoying the time together, and wanted to get him on the pod, talk basketball, college football, NFL, kind of whatever, and go from there. So, Cohen, appreciate you being here, and let's dive away. So, I think my first thing is give me a couple teams, in the NBA this year that you think are going to make a jump or going to be contenders, other than the typical Thunder that we saw last year.
Yeah, let's get it. Off the top, easiest one for me is Rockets is the sleeper team. Mostly young crew, whole team's really young, but they got KD coming back. So hopefully he brings like the leadership that they need. Preseason, they're killing it. But honestly, later you'll see post regular season. We'll see if that pans out. KD, not great history with that on solo teams. Not a main, who knows, locker room guy, what's going on back there. But for the young guys, Amen Thompson, I can't even. I wish I had the right.
Alperen Sengun.
There we go.
They got Jabari Smith Jr. out there. And I think, of course, Reed Shepherd as well was hooping. I mean, we saw him in the preseason pulling like Steph Curry out there. So really love the pick with the Rockets. And kind of what I see with KD, and as I've seen multiple times with KD, is he is kind of more of that Robin type of role in the locker room. And again, a great player, probably one of the best scorers, probably the best scorer ever in my opinion. But just can he get it done when he's the sole leader of the team again, which we'll see. Wasn't really the alpha dog of the Warriors. I mean, Steph Curry, of course. And, so really like that pick there.
Yeah, a lot of long, lanky defenders. KD, even though we're questioning his leadership, he's come around more on the defensive end. So he knows he can get a bucket at any time. But now on defense, he's trying a little bit harder. And hopefully the young guys actually spark that up. Because they're all just super long. Their wingspan average is crazy. Just hope that pans out on the defensive end.
Yeah,
take it from the Thunder. Maybe just their blueprint. It might be the better version of the Thunder from last year.
100%. I mean, and we saw in the preseason, I think their smallest guy starting lineup was 6'7". So and that was their point guard. I think Amen Thompson is 6'7". Really a menace on the defensive end. I know last year he didn't shoot particularly well from three-pointer, but other than that, really good finishing inside. And, Reed Shepherd's going to have the outside shot. And Sengun, of course, people say he's kind of a baby Jokic. I think of him more as the baby Domantas Sabonis, because Jokic is in the league of his own, as most people would argue here. So that's great. On my end, I'm going to take a team maybe that, hasn't been talked about, kind of go to the wayside, and number one pick that hasn't been talked about a lot, and that's the Orlando Magic. Of course, last year had a lot of injuries that kind of led to the demise of their team. Of course, Paul Banchero, I think, was out about 60 games. I think he's the most underrated number one pick. He never gets talked about. I mean, I think he's averaged 25 and about 10 every single year he's been in the league so far. They just picked up Desmond Bane from Memphis. I don't know how that's going to work with their team, already a guard-heavy kind of team, but Magic have been building for a couple years, and I think a couple years ago when they played the Knicks, they got that playoff experience that they needed, and we'll just continue to improve day by day. In a weaker Eastern Conference, of course, we all know the Eastern Conference is more open than the Western Conference with a lot of top-heavy teams in the West. So what do you think about that, Colin? What do you think about the Magic?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Paolo's baby LeBron, and he's coming to his own. What is it, third year, fourth year?
I want to say I think it might be I think it's his third only. But.
Either way, it's like the whole offense runs through him, and it should. But we need to pull up the roster.
Yeah, pull it up. Yeah, I mean, we got time. So, again, we'll clip all this out. So, yeah, I mean, they got...
Oh, they got Desmond Bane now from the Grizzlies. That's what's tough. I was going to say a team to watch be the Grizzlies because Ja's kind of more limited, but Ide's starting to come into his own. His endurance just needs to get up. But the Magic, honestly, the winners of that trade with Desmond Bane, he's going to be helping out. Just another kind of kick-out threat for Paolo, but also he can play defense across the perimeter. So, yeah, who's even running big?
Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter, former Bull, traded him for Vucevic. For all my fans, horrible trade. Wendell Carter became actually a really good starting center. He's not, the best, but does what he needs, plays his role exactly how he needs. And Vucevic, in his age, has only kind of been an offensive menace, but defensively has always kind of been struggling. And the Bulls need kind of that big force like Wendell Carter Jr. in the middle. But
the Magic have the Wagner brothers too, the Wagner brothers too. So they've been around the league a lot. I think the younger brother
Franz is good.
Might be the real deal now.
Franz Wagner, I think he averaged pull up what he averaged last year. I think he averaged almost 25, and dude, he's a beast, man. 24 and a half, 5, 6, and 5, pretty much. So
pretty much 25, 5, and 5.
And he's how old? He's 24 years old. So the Magic have a youth movement. Hopefully, this youth movement won't get traded away like they did with Penny and Shaq back in the day, of course. But Paulo Banchero is the real deal. Desmond Bane coming in there, great 3-and-D guy, but even he's better than that. He's not only 3-and-D, very good. And then Franz Wagner and the rest of that team is really good. I think the coach, Jamal Mosley, is actually a Michael Malone assistant coach from back in the day. So shout out to him as well, and love to see that. Getting into, let's see, some other teams, of course, that I think, and this is my championship pick, so might as well get to the championship pick of the year. I think the only team, and of course, I got my bias, of course, but I truly think they are the best team in the NBA this year, especially revamping their bench and Jokic coming back. Of course, that's the Denver Nuggets. Bruce Brown coming back is a big pickup for the Denver Nuggets. Was a big piece coming off the bench when they won their championship. Tim Hardaway Jr. is another piece that they picked up to come off the bench. That was really where the Nuggets struggled last year. When Jokic and Jamal and Christian Braun and all them boys went to the bench, the Nuggets would blow leads really badly. Didn't have any backup on the bench. So Valanciunas as well coming off the bench is going to be a big pickup for them. I know they got rid of Michael Porter Jr., which we'll see how it works out. I think he played injured all of the playoffs, which kind of tanked people's perception of him. But Cam Johnson's a really good pickup. He kind of plays his role better. He kind of plays a 3-and-D role, which kind of is what the Nuggets need. I think MPJ was trying to get to that star range, which I get with his talent level, but Cam Johnson fits in better with the Nuggets. So, go ahead and take it away.
I'm going to riskier and safer, contingent on Kyrie coming back healthy and playing to his normal degree. I'm going with the Mavs. I like them. I think they're starting to look like what's his name? Is a genius. Nico. Nico might be a genius. With the trade, I think Cooper Flagg is also the other contingency. He's looking good so far. His shot selections and kind of brain synapses will get there on decision making. But with AD, Kyrie, and Cooper Flagg, I think they work perfectly together. They kind of cover the 3 aspects of basketball you need with 3 players, just kind of in offense, defense, and IQ, and sharing the ball. Like they cover it with those 3 guys, and so you just need supporting guys around them, which they kind of do. Most teams do at this point. I think most NBA teams' benches are within 1% to 2% degree of talent different anymore. So it's really team composition and chemistry now. That's what you see, I think, nowadays in basketball. And then my second pick, because I think most of the pieces are returning, and this is I guess maybe a wilder pick, but is the Knicks. Majority of the team is returning. I forget who they picked up as their coach, but that guy might be gone anyway.
What's his name? Old coach Mike Brown, old coach of the
Knicks. The Knicks head coach is Mike Brown. I think with their whole team, they've been there so many times, and most teams like the Knicks, who've been there multiple times with the same core, tend to keep going back. So now that's just playing the odds of how long can we keep going back to the finals or deep playoff runs and not make it all the way and win it all. I like Jalen Brunson. I think he can get to a shot with any size defender on him. So offensively, he's a menace. The whole team relies on him completely. But on the defensive end, everyone works together. Golly, who's getting the rebounds? They have a shooting guard.
Mitchell Robinson?
No.
Josh Hart?
Yeah.
The GOAT.
I mean, Josh Hart's offensive rebounding is unreal for guard play, second to maybe like a Derek White type. But there's so few of those guys in the league who harp on that on the defensive end, finishing up the play and then going straight into transition. They're a disgusting team. I think last year they were missing the fast-pacedness. They were old school in their offense where Brunson just kind of had to, dribble the ball up via John Stockton to the free throw line, and then the offense would happen. It's just so slow and so old school basketball. If they transitioned a hell of a lot more and had their old school basketball when they needed it, they could have won a chip. Who knows? But with the Pacers kind of being a little bit weaker, and I think the Thunder, hopefully more teams can scheme to it and figure out Shai to not get his 30 every night. Other teams will do better. So historically, when you figure out a team, it's a copycat league, so they're going to figure them out. And the Knicks have enough player depth who've been in the playoffs a lot. So those are probably my two picks.
Yeah, so I love the Knicks pick, and kind of going off the old school defense or offense that you were talking about with Tom Thibodeau. I think that's what Mike Brown brings in that a lot of people don't realize is he's always had that fast paced kind of new school offense that I think the Knicks would very much benefit from because as you said, Jalen Brunson run down, they pretty much run one-on-one basketball. Someone get open besides Jalen Brunson. So that transition, but when things get tight in the playoffs, it's a perfect offense for him because Brunson can get a shot and make things happen when they need him most. So and Cat doesn't get he doesn't get talked about enough, but he is a great player. He needs a little bit more toughness, I personally think. But other than that, gets really good stats, gets rebounds, and plays how he needs to when they need him. So and going off the Josh Hart type as well, I don't think there's enough people realize how much value the Josh Hart type of people, Derek White, a Draymond is a bigger version of it, but that type of basketball is so valuable that you can never replace. Like Jose Alvarado, he does what he does, but it's so invaluable that it cannot be replaced. So, and then going off the Mavericks pick, I think, it's going to be good for Kyrie being out a little bit for Cooper Flag so he can kind of get in his rhythm while Kyrie's out, because Kyrie, I think, is going to come back be in his rhythm. Kyrie is just one of those hoopers that is just naturally gifted and a wonderful hooper. But if AD can stay healthy, and that's very contingent on if AD can stay healthy, the Mavericks are going to be a threat in the West. But I'm going to take it down even further south in Texas with my also pick that I think is going to be really good this year. And, of course, it's the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. Victor Wembanyama, I wasn't sold on him coming to the NBA. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I'll give him his flowers. He is an amazing player. He's unbelievable what he can do with he says he's 7'4". I heard he's like 7'5", 7'6". So for him to be able to play like that and not just play like tall and skinny, he plays big, which I really like about him. He plays big in the paint and he gets his shot. So, I know they just drafted Dylan Harper Jr. as well, and then they have Stephon Castle coming off a Rookie of the Year campaign. And Stephon Castle played at UConn, so of course, was well coached that whole time. And I think Stephon Castle and that team could be a surprise in the West, especially. Every team in Texas is going to be good. So the West is going to be another dogfight. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't come on here and, of course, talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. And Luka, the former Mav, of course, still my favorite player to this day. Unfortunately, don't like him as much on the Lakers. But have been seeing videos of Luka, and I'm hopeful that he's going to be better on defense and be better in shape this year because last year and the last couple of years he's kind of been getting lazy. And it's been hurting his team, honestly, especially on the defensive end. They just one-on-one Luka the whole game. So I'm interested to see where the Lakers go. But I don't know. It's going to be LeBron's last year, I think. But it's a tough Western Conference. I think if they were in the East, it'd be a better chance. But we'll have to see really who steps up for the Lakers other than LeBron and Luka. So,
yeah. No, the Lakers, to me, I think they are a pick in a lot of people's mind, but they beat themselves up. They're like talent-wise, they're the best. They should be the best team. It doesn't make sense. And they have JJ Redick, this very offensive-minded coach, extremely smart player turned coach now. But I don't know. I think when that team it's historic. When that team gets down on itself, they don't fight back, and I think LeBron's the catalyst for it. If he's not showing it, like they say it's Luka's team, but any team LeBron's on is going to be his team. I don't think he's going to pass the torch off because of his style of basketball. It's not a bad or a good thing. He should lead the stats in nearly everything now if he wanted to for when he started till when he retires, and if he is not giving it all on the effort end, then all the other guys don't give it their all on their effort end. So it really starts with him. That's probably going to be better this season. LeBron is kind of taking a step back into like a facilitator role, which he should be cool with. Like that's how he started. He was really just a Magic Johnson passing type. His passes are still crazy, but I would hope to see like more rim running from him, just attacking the rim. He's still a superhuman. Maybe if he's just not dunking as much, he can finish crazy at the rim with layups and just feed Luka, because the stagnant offense of the high pick and roll with Luka, the Mavs offense coming over to the Lakers, it's stale, and it gets figured out very easily. Guys can switch off and guys can help. And when you have LeBron on your team, you want a high motion offense. You want guys moving, and for him to, because he can see four guys moving at once very well. Luka tends to wait until he needs to bail himself out to pass the ball instead of looking to pass. He's looking to score, and then if he wants to, he can pass it later. LeBron is constantly thinking what's the best thing to do at a certain time. You know, Jokic is one of those guys. Brunson's getting there, but there's Trae Young's like that. He's more of a pass first, best play, highest statistical likelihood that the ball is going to go in the hoop type of play instead of just getting his bucket. Luka has been getting his for a while now, and I bet the thoughts are kind of coming into his head like, do I continue to just be a scoring champ and a scoring guy, or do I go for the championship? Do I negate the ball out of my hands to get the best play possible? And I'm not completely doubting him of that he can do that. He's definitely shown he can pass the ball like crazy, but I feel like he starts to do that when he's not having a good shooting night.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, of course, and that's unfortunate with Luka. And I love that thing of, I think Luka passes the ball just to get the assist stats. I don't think he's doing it to get the best outcome, kind of like you said with LeBron and Jokic and stuff like that. So I completely agree with that. I've said that for a few years with Luka, unfortunately. But, if he's any great player has to understand that if I want to win, I got to do some things differently. I mean, we've been watching The Last Dance, and they were talking about MJ, transitioning from Doug Collins to Phil Jackson's triangle offense and kind of taking a step back of, I don't need the ball in my hands at all times. I got to trust that these dudes around me can do what I want to do. So I think Luka's going to take that step. I don't know if it's this year with LeBron. I think it's unfortunately going to be maybe next year when he's alone. But we'll kind of see what happens with the Lakers there, because I'm curious to see where they go. So let me think. I gotta of course. Yeah,
that's good, Ron.
Yeah. So I gotta think about where we're gonna go next. Of course, I gotta talk about my Bulls real quick for my Chicago viewers, because everyone loves my Chicago takes. So let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. The best thing about the Bulls is Stacey King. Shout out Stace. But no, realistically, the Bulls this year, I think can be all right in the Eastern Conference. I think they got the pieces. They're starting to build a really good team. Matas Buceles, I think is how you say his name. Second year in the league, looking to really take that next step forward this year, especially getting rid of Levine and all those scorers as well. And then Josh Giddey, besides everything with Josh Giddey, he's a very good hooper. I mean, he makes the right play, and he's actually a true point guard. Kind of gets, excuse me, every statistical thing that you need. 6'7", rebounds, assists, as well as scores the ball at a high rate. So he's got something going on. So what do we think? What are you going on? What do you got?
Bulls, not much into them. We'll see. They've been in transition. I think they've just lost money. They're down probably on money and stock. A sleeper, Grizzlies and Hawks. Just because local and been watching them, but I don't think they'll do that well. Hawks were like 500 last year, and I think they'll be 500 again. Trae Young's just not getting, I think, the supporting cast that should fit him.
Yeah.
What was it? The team 2 years ago was when they made a better run, and when he owned New York, and they just lost kind of that team. They're really young. I know that. And Trae Young's one of the more veteran guys. So I don't know. That's a big question mark, and it's compared to they got to play the Celtics. So when you have to play the Celtics and you're not at that caliber, it's just hard for me to get behind them.
For sure.
I think the Celtics are another most obvious pick.
Jason Tatum's out for the year, or he says he's going to come back, but he's out for the year, by the way.
Even with that,
Derek White, though.
I think even with Tatum off the floor, they're, if not more dangerous, it lets all their tweener guys and now become starters. Like Peyton Pritchard is now just pretty much a starter.
Yeah.
Derek White, like you're saying, shout out D White. UCCS versus Metro State. We saw it happen. The 60-point game that got him to Boulder, that got him to be, overlooked in the NBA and now be one of the best players, an all-star.
Still to this day, too, best performance I've ever seen in person by a basketball player. Me and him immediately were like, this dude needs to be playing at a higher level. He was
unbelievable. He's dominant at that level, dominant at every level he's been at, and very underrated.
Yep.
And now he's finally getting his flowers. Even on the recent USA team run, Jason Tatum didn't get in, and Derek White did. So they're looking to win for the country, and they played Derek White and they didn't play Jason Tatum. That's what happened. It's just facts. So I think the Celtics are still a favorite, even with Tatum in or out. I like Jaylen Brown a lot, too. He's a consummate professional, a genius of a dude, and just a genius on the court, and athletically extremely talented. Just the whole team in general, though, settles for threes. So it's not just the Tatum curse that rubs off on anyone. I think Tatum falls into it. He's their highest, I think, talent gap player. Tatum can play the best out of all the players, but he can also play the worst. He settles for a lot of threes. Jaylen Brown and Derek are probably the most consistent. I think you're getting more out of Derek because of the defensive end and what he does at the position. Averages, I think, the highest amount of blocks for a guard and was in pretty much top 5 for blocks across all positions. Doesn't even matter. Kind of reincarnated D Wade getting blocks on defense in a way, but a lot taller, a lot lankier than D Wade ever was or ever is. But yeah, I think Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench is also just energy and then a high bucket capacity, and then just all players can play defense. The Celtics know how to build a team. They know what they're doing. They have been forever. So
yeah, okay, and the Celtics, of course, are a great team. And I gotta, again, if we're gonna talk about Eastern teams, I can't not talk about my boy Giannis Antetokounmpo. I've been with him. He used to be on my fantasy team every single year from when he was first playing point guard for the Bucks. That's how OG I am on Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's played point guard. And quick point on the Bucks is he's gonna play more point guard and more have the ball in the hand this year. He's got to continue that passing ability that he has. Brook Lopez being gone, and it's kind of shifting towards what do you want to do, Giannis? Because they're trying to keep Giannis in Milwaukee, of course. So it's kind of up to Giannis to how the team's going to be built and going forward. Of course, the Damian Lillard trade didn't really work out, which I could have told you that. Probably most people could have, because you're trading a 3-and-D guy, which is more valuable in the NBA, for just a pure scorer, especially when you already have Giannis out there. So I think the last thing on the NBA, though, is my boy's got a point, so let him hit the point.
I was going to go, one team I want to win it all that I don't know is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
Is Ant. Julius Randle's back, and Naz Reid's still there. You got Joe Ingles as your vet, chilling on the bench. But that team, they were disappointing. Ant had a disappointing playoff run, honestly.
Yep.
For his hype. He's got crazy hype, and he is crazy good. He shoots a lot of threes for how easily he can get to the rim. He should be attacking the rim a little bit more. Then they get scared. They take one step off of him, shoot the three, man. I think sometimes he's just rushing it, and just wants to blow out teams. He wants to eviscerate teams, which is awesome. He's got one of the best mindsets in the NBA. It's very Michael Jordan-like. He's a killer. And I don't think the league has many killer mentality guys like him, young and just fresh. He'll go at KD, his role model, and he's like, oh, he's not my role model anymore. I'm better than him. So it's just great energy. Yeah. And I love Julius Randle. I mean, he's now facing the end of his career, and he's a rough and tough guy too. So I know him and Ant's relationship is just great. And Naz Reid, I think he's their kind of sleeper X Factor guy who, if Ant and Julius Randle aren't playing up to par, then Naz Reid should be the guy that gets the ball in his hands a little bit more often, or when they're not on the court and he's on the court, he's got to do a little bit more because he can. Big Jelly, love Big Jelly. Defensively, he's a menace too. Kind of skinny, might need to put on weight, but it keeps him quick on the offensive end. So just love that team too.
Yeah, Minnesota's a great team. I mean, their coach is great, coming from Toronto Raptors as well. So love that. So I guess going off that and talk about all the wonderful players, we're going to go with MVP pick, who you think, and then we're going to go with the dark horse MVP pick as well. So go ahead and give it a thought and tell the people what you think.
Damn, because I was going to say Derek White.
Ooh, yeah. You want me to fire away?
Yeah, because you could go Jokic.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm 100%, 100% MVP going to go to Jokic. It should. Let me rephrase that. It should go to Jokic based on his trajectory and what I think he's going to do this year. I think he didn't win last year, even though he should have. Last year it was the best statistical year he's ever had in his career. And also for the haters that say he doesn't play defense, I think he averages he's top 5 in steals as a center. So, blocks look cool and they look dope when you're blocking, but blocks don't automatically mean turnover. Steals are an automatic turnover, another possession for your team. So, yeah, blocks are cool. I love it, but Jokic on the defensive end isn't as bad as people claim he is. And then offensively, of course, we know what he can do. I think, Jamal Murray also, I think he's going to be an all-star this year. I forgot to mention about Jamal Murray. I think he's going to be an all-star for the first time this year. Based on preseason, he looks healthy. He looks like he's finally back comfortable with, I think it was his knee or his Achilles. I don't remember what he hurt, but that was 2 years ago. Sometimes it takes a lot of players 2 years to kind of get back in the rhythm and them feeling comfortable with it. So if Jamal plays well, the Nuggets will win and Jokic will get the MVP as well. But on the dark horse candidate, I'm going to go with somebody that's, that we talked about a little bit earlier, and I'm going to go with Paolo Banchero. I think Paolo Banchero, if he gets the respect he deserves, good touchdown by the Lions, by the way. If the Magic get top 3 in the East and he gets the respect and the media attention that he deserves based on what he's averaged the last 3 years, he could be a big MVP candidate for people, especially if that team achieves what many people think they do. But I think there's a lot of candidates, honestly. I mean, Wembanyama is great choice. Luka could win if he really turns up. Ant-Man, of course. There's a lot of really good talent in the NBA, especially with the older dudes retiring. But I think the NBA is in good hands with the younger dudes. So I'll pass it over. I think he has his MVP pick now, and let him fire away.
Yeah. MVP, I am going to go Anthony Edwards. I think because Julius Randle might be towards the end of his career, Ant's going to get even more of the burden placed on him as if he didn't have it enough. I think he shot the most threes and made the most threes last year. So even if he shoots on par or a little bit better, he's going to destroy in that category. He'll probably be the scoring champ or scoring leader. We'll see. Might be him or KD. But I just think he's the face of the league. He's the freshness it needs, and this will be his testament year. Like, can you go against all these other very well-built teams and almost single-handedly beat them? He tried to and was close. And he's one of the few players that can kind of do it, I think. And we'll see. So if it goes well, I'm going to go Anthony Edwards. My sleeper, and I did mention earlier, but I think it is Derek White. And if Jason Tatum doesn't return long enough, and it is Jaylen Brown and Derek White's show for a while, Jaylen Brown is great defensively, but statistically MVPs go to guys with high statistics. I mean, and it gets decided by that at some points.
Yeah.
If we're splitting hairs, then I'm going to go to the guy who's averaging a lot more blocks than the other guy, if that's the category. But I think D. White, he shoots a lot of threes and he goes to the rim, but he's doing everything for the team, for the win. And now he needs to do that more than ever, which means more scoring. So the obvious category of, what makes MVP an MVP is how many points do they score. It has been. It almost is who's the scoring champ in a way. So he's going to get more points. He already averages a crazy amount of stats for every single stat. So if his points go up, he could be nearing like a 25, almost 9-8 season with 5 or 6 blocks. That's MVP caliber. Like that's easily all-star caliber. And if the Celtics have a crazy good season and he's the guy, then he should be MVP. But that goes to say Jaylen Brown might soak up those points, those Jaylen Brown points. So there is that. So I think both of those guys is now like a test. Like, okay, the guy is gone. Jason Tatum, he's gone. Who's going to be the guy? The Celtics do run a lot more team ball. They share the ball very well. But in late game situations, fourth quarter, the men come out to play, and that's where those points will get soaked up. That's where Jason Tatum was shooting a lot of his shots. He's a big Kobe guy, and that's Kobe. Bulk of his scoring was in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Let the team play in the first 3 quarters. I'm preserving my energy for the fourth, so we'll see what those two guys do. But I'm taking D. White all day.
I love the D. White pick. Of course, got to shout out Colorado because he's another Colorado great like everyone. So that was our NBA take. Of course, NBA, I think it's going to be a really good year this year. I love that the NBA is going back to non-super teams, a lot of parity, a lot of different teams winning the championship. I think it's the best thing for the NBA. I think it's the best thing for NFL, any sport. I don't think as cool as dynasties are, I mean, I love the Patriots dynasty, of course, but I like the parity, and hopefully the Nuggets can get back this year and another team. So let's kick it off with going to college football because it's been a great year for college football. I don't know who the best team is. There's a bunch of teams that could win it all, honestly, based on what I've been seeing. SEC every week's a battle, but really other than that, Ohio State, of course, I could see being up there, but I think there's a lot of parity in college football this year. So I'm first going to let my boy take it away because, I know he's a big Georgia guy, big, Tennessee, UT. So let him take a couple takes in there, and then I'll jump in and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC, according to the standings right now, doesn't look like we run the show because we're not, top 5 super heavy, but just, the top 3 actually. So we kind of are. SEC still runs the show no matter what the rankings are. It pretty much always will. I think we're seeing a lot of teams kind of crumble in other conferences where the SEC always infights. They say we suck, and it's because we're beating each other. Yep. So, Bama's back. It's a little scary. Most SEC fans are worried about it. I don't like DeBoer, but he's now kind of coming to his own.
Ty Simpson.
The whole team, Ryan Williams, the 18-year-old receiver they have.
Yeah.
He's not. He can't even, drink, but he can catch every ball that comes his direction. I think he's dropped a few passes, but they look really, really good. They handled Georgia.
Somehow lost to Florida State. Don't have no idea how now because Florida State's where they are, but.
Glad Georgia handled Ole Miss. A lot of this stuff's kind of happening. SEC rankings kind of don't mean anything if you're within the top 25, almost top 10 is where it's like, we're basically even because the competition's that tight and that fierce. And that's why you've seen love Vandy. We got to shout out Vandy.
Of course.
Being in the area. But Pavia has, call him cocky and, if you want to know how good he is, ask him. But he is the truth. He's producing wins at a crazy rate, and he's probably going to get picked up in the league for this type of mentality he has. Statistically shown he can do it. He's this generation's Johnny Football, Manziel, just a hype guy who gets wins, figures it out. Attribute the coaching too. They've been in a rebuild for a while, and they've had crazy transitions. So I don't know how many times they fired their AD, or if it is the same AD, keep that person there because they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're becoming the truth. Ole Miss, even though they lost to Georgia, I really like Lane Kiffin. I think he's a really smart coach. But sometimes, his pants, he bites off a little bit more than he can chew at some points and will take riskier bets deeper in games. Tends to go for fourth down religiously, but that live and die by it. So you can take what you can with that. I think he'll still have an illustrious career and stay at Ole Miss for a while, or stay within the SEC if anything opens up. Moving to Tennessee is always a little bit on the precipice of being great, and then end up not fully going through the finish line. Heupel's an incredible coach. The fast-paced offense. He's the king of getting defensive guys fake injuries, as well as his own team. So he knows how to play that game. I love him schematically, but they're a little weak on positions. I think their defense has run the show a little bit, but there's some cracks now in the defense where that's when you call out on your offense, hey, now you help the team, help kind of be the main asset of the team. And if that's not transitioning well with, kind of the QB right now, UCLA guy who's coming over,
Nico. Oh, the quarterback, no. Joey Aguilar.
Aguilar gets a little tense, and you can tell he's accurate. He's accurate as hell. He can throw well, but it's when it gets to tie game, third quarter. Okay, we have to score. It's in the have to score scenarios that he gets a little bit of pressure, and maybe it's on the O line that I don't think, but the modern QB now has to get out of the pocket and run, and you gotta make the decision quick.
Yeah.
So without that, we'll see. Like Tennessee just kind of is that, they hover in the 10 to 15 rank. They have been for a few years, but when you're in a conference with Bama, Georgia, and now Ole Miss is really a powerhouse, and Vandy's coming up, at least Kentucky's bad and Florida's bad.
But Mizzou, you have
Mizzou. You have
Texas, Oklahoma now.
Texas A&M.
A&M.
I always forget their SEC too. Texas, we'll see they might bring it together, but every team's a powerhouse that you have to go against. So the fact that you can't ever get to the top of the powerhouse doesn't say you're a bad team. It's just like that means there's maybe 3 or 4 pieces that are missing, and once you get those, they can easily be a top 5 team like they used to be.
Yeah. No, and going off the Tennessee point, it just seems unfortunately when games get tight, Tennessee is the team to crumble, and they're never the team to come through. Had a chance against Alabama and had a chance against they lost to Georgia too. Is the other one?
Yeah.
2 games they were in control of the game and they just crumbled at the end. But going off the Georgia point, which I haven't given Georgia and Bobo, of course, his flowers, but honestly, last game against Ole Miss, I don't know who was calling plays. I don't know who got in your head, but Bobo looked really good. And for as much as what I think about Gunnar Stockton is when things get tight, he's one that elevates his game and comes through in situations when they need him. Same as like Diego Pavia and Baker Mayfield now in the NFL as we're seeing. But they were down. I want to say 15 going in the fourth quarter of that game, and Bobo and Gunnar Stockton really put it together and showed why they're still, of course, Georgia in the SEC. And the only team they lost to this year was, of course, Alabama. And Alabama's, I think those two are 1 and 2 in the SEC. Texas A&M, I guess, is number 3 now. So
unbeaten.
Yeah, haven't seen them. They haven't played anybody high level in the SEC yet. So we'll see once they actually get into those games what they're going to do. But all respect to Georgia getting that win over Ole Miss this weekend. That was a really big win for them. Ole Miss, of course, was coming in with a lot of momentum and felt really good about where they were. Yeah, Texas A&M,
they haven't.
They haven't played anyone good yet.
But they play LSU next. But LSU just lost to Vandy. So.
And LSU, I don't think. Now that win over Clemson doesn't look as good because Clemson's 2-5. My team, my ponies just won, beat them. Go SMU. I think we're on the come up back in the ACC, but. So we'll see what they do. I think Texas A&M is going to have a big test. It's in Death Valley. It seems like it's in Death Valley. So never an easy place to play. It is in Death Valley for sure. Mm-hmm. If Garrett Nussmeier is the quarterback that people say he is, and he wants to be his first overall pick, I think he has to come out this week and win this game. They haven't been. LSU has been nothing but unsuccessful this year in kind of showing who they are. But that's just SEC ball. If they were in any other conference, they're probably first in the conference. So that's how it is. And then getting over to, of course, my team, surprise of the week, which wasn't really a surprise for me was Miami going down to Louisville or losing to Louisville. Of course, Jeff Brom, Western Kentucky product, has come up with at Purdue first and now at Louisville, his alma mater. So he always wins a big game. I saw something. I think he has the second most wins against top 5 opponents as a coach. So Louisville now is finally in the rankings. They only lost to Virginia this year, which is another really good team that doesn't get talked about a lot. So Miami, though, we'll have to see if they have the Florida State instinct where they lose one game and they start snowballing. Unfortunately, that seems like a lot of the ACC is they lose one game and then they start just snowballing. I don't know why it happens. Like SEC's used to just getting beat up every week and then coming back and winning. So it's going to be an interesting rest of the year in college football because I really don't think there's a team that stands out that shows like who's the best team. I think Alabama and Georgia are pretty close to 1 and 2, but got to give flowers to Kurt Cignetti as well at Indiana. And for those of you who don't know Kurt Cignetti, Google him. That's all. That's what you want me to say on this podcast. So
my ACC best team in the ACC,
we're in the ACC. Your team.
Another top-ranked team in the ACC, the best team in the ACC. Yeah. We're going to be worried about it when that game finally comes near on the schedule because we have it every year for Georgia. Is Georgia Tech?
Yes.
Last year, 8 overtimes. I think Georgia 7 or 8 overtimes. I'm pretty sure Georgia ended up winning the game, a nail biter, and that was when Georgia Tech, I believe, didn't have it all together.
Yeah.
And it was Haynes King is legit. If you think Pavio is good, Haynes King might just be a little bit later stage Pavio who just stayed in college a little bit longer. But he's super legit. That team's legit. They're very scary. So I think Georgia Tech in general has always had a hidden, like they're the dark horse of the ACC, and whether or not their team buys into their offense or has a QB who can run. They used to be the option, the epitome of the option offense, and now since football has the quarterback position is now just the running back who throws. Georgia Tech has one of the best at it, and it's because he's been in college forever and he's played forever, and now everything's starting to slow down. I think it was him and the Clemson guy who were really in contention, and Nussmeier at LSU for Heisman watch. And Haynes so far has been the pan out. I think he's had a couple mishaps in tight games. I know Tech has gone very unscathed on a lot of games, and they're getting out of games, but they're winning. So win's a win, and I think when Georgia plays them, that might be another big test. It's now a very big game for Georgia, especially for Georgia's chances to go into the playoffs, because the SEC is so strong, and once you lose two games, you're pretty much out of the playoffs. In the SEC, for other divisions, for the other lollipop teams they play, it's fine to win or to lose a couple games. The SEC, if you're 2 wins, you're out, or 2 losses. If in the SEC, 2 losses and you're out of the playoffs.
Get the fuck out of here! Yeah, man. So. Yeah, ACC, I mean, I'm looking at the top 3 ACC right now. We got Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU, of course.
Virginia.
Can't forget, Virginia, I'm sorry, I don't know the coach's name. I want to say I feel like it's Tony Elliott. I know that's a singer, but I'm pretty sure it's Tony Elliott as the coach of the Virginia Cavaliers. But has done nothing but an excellent job at Virginia and bringing them to, what they are now. I think their ranking is what? Yeah, Tony Elliott, boom. Bro, I got this ball knowledge, bro. I should trust myself and know that's ball knowledge. But Virginia this year has been, a real surprise in the ACC. No one kind of was thinking about Virginia and where they were going to go and their chances. But I got to ride with, of course, SMU unfortunately has 2 losses. But if they win against Miami in 2 weeks, they're right in the driver's seat to win the ACC. So I got to root for my ponies, of course, because I went there and that's my school. But I guess getting to it now that I'm thinking about it is my other school, Colorado State, just fired their coach, Jay Norvell. It was the right decision. Unfortunately, CSU has not been good in a while since Jim McElwain. Bobo kind of came in there and ruined that whole program, but that's neither here nor there. So I thought he was a good coach coming from Nevada. Nevada was a really good program. Just could never figure it out at CSU. I don't know if it's something with CSU, but at least what I noticed when I was there is a lot of kids come from like 3, 4, 5 stars, so they think they're too good for CSU and they don't play as hard as they need to. And football is a sport that if you don't play hard, you will lose every week. I don't care how good you are. You got to play hard. It's a very important sport. So
Special teams are the most important in football.
special teams makes everything come together. And if you don't have special teams,
If you don't have a good placeholder,
long
you
snapper,
don't get any extra points.
you're forgetting about the long snapper as well. So I guess who do you think Georgia has a chance to win the national championship? And if so, who do you? Because we got 12-team playoffs, so who's going to be their toughest competition going through the playoff? I think is a really good
the rest of their schedule.
really good thing. So of course, I think the playoff, 12 teams is going to be anybody, but I got to go with Indiana. I got to go with Ohio State or 2. I think Alabama and Georgia are 2. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4 almost. I honestly do. I think Alabama, Georgia, and Indiana and Ohio State should be 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. And of course, there's automatic bids from each of the big conferences, so that would be an automatic bid for each of those. So that's the unfortunate part of that. But I guess let's kick it to Cullen because he's got Georgia up, and I'll let him go from there.
Yeah, Georgia definitely has in the Kirby era, we have a chance to win the championship every year. It depends on Bobo and how we execute his plays.
Yeah.
I think sometimes his play calling's good and sometimes really bad. But for the most part, with the personnel we have, it's hard to be that bad. Yeah. We're running into the problem that Bama ran into for a little bit post Saban, finding our identity after losing championships and not being in the championship game anymore. But if we win out the rest of the season, yes, we should immediately be in the playoffs, and we will, because just Mississippi State, Texas, Charlotte, and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Texas, we should handle, but that's contingent more on Texas playing extremely well and Georgia just playing bad. So hopefully Georgia has a good game and Texas has a good game and Georgia wins. That's the most logical conclusion. But the Georgia Tech game is terrifying. It's gotten worse and worse every year. So we'll see how that one ends. It's excellent that it's at the end of the season. So if we win that game, we go straight into – that's basically another playoff game that we're playing with Georgia Tech. So then it will be, I think, the SEC championship week, though, after that. So we'll see. It probably is going to be Georgia-Bama like it is every year. But that's can we figure out Bama? I want to say that the team who, if the ranking's tight enough, that Georgia and Bama, whoever wins in the regular season, tends to lose in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
So the odds are in Georgia's favor. I like when Georgia is not ranked number 1. I like when they're a little bit lower and actually have some dog in them. They are a cocky team when they are number 1, and they play like a cocky team. They start slow, and it doesn't matter what players they have. That's their mindset. But they tend to finish games. But when we have a chip on our shoulder, we start a little bit better. So that means we're going to end up better and finish games. Georgia tends to fight through stuff. We've had some tough losses, but we've been there. Kirby's been there. So I like Georgia again if we can have good film on Bama and figure out the flaws and not make that game that close. But yeah, I think, and if Bama wins that game, if Bama wins the SEC championship, they're going and winning it all. Every year I will be an SEC supporter. It will have to be an SEC team getting upset in the first round of the playoffs to give it to an Ohio State or possibly an Indiana.
Yeah.
If I'm going outside of SEC, I'm going with Indiana. I like it. I don't think they have that much experience in the new playoff era, but teams are compromised. Like you can't just say, "Oh,
you know what? I think that was beautiful for the first run." So I appreciate everyone being here and supporting along the way. This is going to go more than just sports. That's why we changed it from Dill Talk Sports, so that's beautiful. Boy here, we can talk about gaming. We can talk about a lot of things. We're going to have episodes coming out when we can, when the boy wants to get on, whenever. So appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you being here, Cole. And, of course, guys, deuces and God bless. I'll see y'all.
See ya.